Hello readers, I'm Amy. Sorry if you hear some blowing or something in the background. There is some yard work getting done, which I'm going to join in after this video. But I thought I would just do a little bit of a book haul. So, I just got 3 books in the mail. As you may have noticed, I haven't really done book hauls in the last probably year or so. I've been slowly trying to take a little more control of my finances and try to curb my poor spending habits. So I'm not shopping as much, but regardless of this conversation, this is a book haul. So just a little bit of a background. I am affiliated with Second Sale. It's an online store that sells both new and used books. Last I checked, it was pretty limited to America, but I know that they were trying to work on expanding their reach a little bit. And you can get some new books, but you can also get some used books. And each of these books were like in the $5 range or a little bit less. Overall, I ended up spending like $15, and I ended up getting 2 hardbacks and a paperback. So, you know, I am pretty happy with that. And also 2 of these books have very light covers and they're pretty nice and clean looking. So I'm happy with this. Just thought I would do a little bit of a walkthrough with them. Get a Life, Chloe Brown is one of the books that I got. This is actually for my friend's birthday because she sent me a list of books that she wanted, and the Brown Sisters trilogy was on the list, so I grabbed her the first one. I'm so excited to show her this series and to have her read it and just to gush about it together. I love the Brown Sisters. You have Chloe, Danny, and Eve. They all have just these really fun personalities, and you're seeing them fall in love with the guys. And I'm not a big romance reader, you all know this, but I loved the Brown Sisters. It's like, it's not just an erotic book or it's not just a romance book. It's discussing disabilities and social media and just all of these little parts of life while still being a romantic book. Like, the romance isn't the only focus of it, and I love that. So, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, for my friend's birthday. Awesome. Then I have Hungry Hearts. This was recommended by Victoria from What Victoria Read a little while back, and I've been wanting to read it. It's been on my library list, but from the library it keeps saying date unknown for when the hold is going to be available, and I don't know that they just hadn't purchased it yet or what. But it's been on my holds for probably better part of a year at this point, and I found this on Second Sale, and I'm like, you know what? It's $5. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up a copy, and it even ended up being a hardcover. I learned from my reading of N.K. Jemisin, particularly her science fiction and fantasy short stories. It's How Long Till Black Future Month. I do have a video on that book, which I will link in the corner. But I found out from reading that, particularly one of the stories that revolves around a chef and like these magical recipes, I really love reading about food. Food descriptions are just, it's so good. And I'm someone who also reads while I eat. I'm not afraid of a couple of ramen noodle spots getting in my books. I'm sorry if that's hard for you to hear, but I eat while I read. I love reading about food, so I think I'm really going to enjoy this. This is a set of 13 short stories. Says a shy teenager attempts to express how she really feels through the confections she makes at her family's pastelaria. A tourist from Montenegro desperately seeks a magic soup dumpling that could cure his fear of death. An aspiring chef realizes that butter and soul are the key ingredients to win a cooking competition that could grant him the money to save his mother's life. So I think these are going to be really heartwarming. I see the cover, I see the phrase Hungry Hearts. It says 13 tales of food and love. I feel like this is the kind of book where you want to cozy up in your fuzzy socks with your nice hot stew, have the book propped open in front of you while you're spooning it in. Seeing this book just sets a mood for me, and I know exactly what it's going to look like when I enjoy reading it. Maybe I'll even take a picture of me and my inner foodie enjoying this book. Then we have Mostly Dead Things, which I've been excited to read for several reasons. one of which I'll discuss in a minute, but first off, I will tell you what it's about. Also, I love this like lime green book cover. Says, one morning, Jessa Lynn Morton walks into the family taxidermy shop to find that her father has committed suicide, right there on one of the metal tables. Shocked and grieving, Jessa steps up to manage the failing business, while the rest of the Morton family crumbles. Her mother starts sneaking into the shop to make aggressively lewd art with the taxidermied animals. Her brother, Milo, withdraws, struggling to function. And Bryn, Milo's wife, and the only person Jessa's ever been in love with, walks out without a word. As Jessa seeks out less than legal ways of generating income, her mother's art escalates. Picture a figure of her dead husband and a stuffed buffalo. Picture a figure of her dead husband and a stuffed buffalo in an uncomfortably sexual pose, and the Mortons reach a tipping point. For the first time, Jessa has no choice but to learn who these people truly are and ultimately how she fits alongside them. So it sounds like it might be a bit of a chaos-filled but also heartwarming family tale. And I don't know if I've ever actually talked about this or how many of you knew this, but I grew up with taxidermy. My uncle owned a taxidermy business in our small town, and my dad worked for that business. My dad was also an outfitter, so basically I have a lot of experience with dead animals and being around dead animals. Not to say that I don't love animals, because I absolutely do. It's just I grew up with a certain relationship with the world. I had pets. I loved them. We would hunt for our food, so we weren't paying for a burger from the store or anything. It's just the way I grew up. But I always thought taxidermy was really fascinating. It does not smell good. It is not a clean business. But seeing how these taxidermied animals were made into works of art was always really interesting. I did great in my biology class growing up. I was the one that everyone actually got really mad at me in my biology class because I made the dead frog do a dance. Apparently they weren't very happy with that. But with my dad's outfitting business, I remember one day he was working on all of these beavers. Like, he'd trapped some beavers, he was taking the hides off, and I walk up to him and I'm like, you know what? I want to see what's inside the beaver. Like, I want to dissect the beaver. I think that'd be really cool. And he's like, you know what? Here's some latex gloves. Here's a knife. Please don't cut yourself. And so I went off and I grabbed one of the beavers and I dissected it in the middle of our lawn. We lived in the country. We didn't have any neighbors to look at me funny. But yeah, that's a little bit about my history with taxidermy. And it's just not a topic that you come across a lot, unless maybe it's in a horror novel. So I am really, not that I'm not reading enough books already, but I really feel like picking up this book now and just getting into it, because I want to hear about someone else's life with taxidermy. I think the only other time that I've ever read about it was in Jenny Lawson's memoirs, where she talks about having like this taxidermied raccoon that she carries around. It's something that I'm intrigued to read more about. So yeah, I'm excited. But these are the 3 books that I picked up for about $15, and if you would like to save a little money in your book shopping, I do have a code. I will get a little bit of a kickback if you use it, so just be aware of that. But you can use code FEM10, and that will get you 10% off of $10 or more in used books. And for $10, you can get a lot of used books. Some of them are pricier, like I imagine that the $20 used books are the ones that are in like really nice condition. Not that these aren't in nice condition, but like I said, I got them for like $5 a piece. So use code FEM10 if you would like a discount. Here's my little book haul. I'm going to try and order from them more in general, not just because I'm affiliated, but because I am trying to work on my finances and saving money and being more aware of the money that I'm spending. But I also still really want to buy books, and this is going to be a great option. Also, it's not linked to Amazon, so do we need another reason? That's going to be it from me. Please like, subscribe, be my friend on social media. I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, friends.